Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Lewa baby. So it is finally here, the tutorial you have all been waiting for. Here is the Filet Crochet Romper tutorial. Yay! About a month ago, I was planning to go out and I wanted to crochet my outfit. I ended up not being able to finish the outfit that I started, but I still wanted to complete it, so I did. And it turned out to be this Filet Crochet Romper. I absolutely loved it. You guys loved it on TikTok and Instagram and immediately asked for a tutorial. The reason it's taken me so long to put out a tutorial is because that was the first time I had ever made something like that. I have never created a crochet romper. While I was making it, I wasn't really taking any notes. I was kind of just winging it, doing things that I thought would look good on me because I just wanted to complete the piece. I didn't expect it to, resonate with you guys as much as, I liked it. That being said, I really had to be very diligent in creating this tutorial so I could explain it to the best of my abilities, and so you can also be able to translate it to your size and your body type and your style as well. I ended up having to make the romper about 2 different times in order for me to film this tutorial, just so it could be as clear as possible. Even as the person that created this tutorial, I had to make the romper 2 times in order for me to be able to make the tutorial well, because there were some things that I did in the first romper that I wanted to do better the second time making it, and I wanted it to just translate well in me trying to teach you guys how to do that. I would also say this tutorial is best for intermediate to advanced level crocheters, and it's not really a beginner level project. Although if you are a beginner and you have faith in yourself, I trust that you can do it. It just takes a lot of learning. So I'll link some videos that could be like supplementary helpers to helping you create this filet crochet piece. If you have any questions or clarifications, please leave them below in the comments and I'll respond to you as soon as I can. Your comments and feedback is what's going to help me create a better tutorial next time, and then also perfect the written pattern before I put it out. If you recreate my piece, please tag me on Instagram so I can see what you guys have made and see how well my tutorial has helped you guys, okay? I love to see that stuff. Thank you in advance for watching my video, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Happy crocheting! For this tutorial, I will be using the Yarn Bee Fundamental Cotton yarn. For each different part, I will be using a different color to kind of make the tutorial a little bit clearer. For the original piece, I also used a 4mm crochet hook. I will also be making this in my size because this is the second time I'm making this and I've only ever made it in my size. This is the first part of the tutorial using a 5mm crochet hook. And then this is what it looks like using a 4mm crochet hook. And you can clearly see there is a size difference. This is an inch or 2, an inch and a half smaller. So I guess if you wanted to make the piece even smaller, I guess maybe size down, maybe another 1/2 millimeter or an entire 1 millimeter. If you want to go even bigger than this, you could size up another 1/2 millimeter or go up to a 6mm hook. With that being said, let's begin. I will be using a 4mm crochet hook. The first part of this tutorial is going to be creating the neck. And to do that, I start off with a foundation chain of 50. So this is my 50th chain. I'm going to mark it with a stitch marker. Now I'm going to chain 2, and that's going to count as a double crochet. 1, 2. I'm going to chain 1. And now double crochet into the 49th chain. Now I'm going to chain 1, skip the next chain, and double crochet into the one after it. That's going to be the sequence I'm going to repeat all the way down. So again, I'm going to chain 1, skip the next chain, and then double crochet in the one after that. The final double crochet should be in the first chain that we created. And there should be 25 boxes here. To start round 2, and this is how we're also going to start each round, I'm going to chain 2, and this counts as a double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and double crochet into this next double crochet right here. Now I'm going to repeat chain 1 and double crochet 23 more times. After 23 chain 1s and half double crochets, for the last double crochet we're going to do, it's going to be inside the chain 2 that we made. So I'm going to chain 1, and you notice there's no double crochet space for me to crochet into, but you have to remember that the chain 2 that we made at the end of the first row is the double crochet. So I'm going to double crochet into that second chain. Now my second row is complete. I'm going to repeat that same sequence 2 more times for rows 3 and row 4. This is only the first part of the neck. We're going to come back to finish the strings that hang off the neck later. But for now, we're going to move on to the chest. I've now completed my first 4 rows. I should have 25 mesh boxes still. So now I'm going to count 5 boxes in on each side. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to mark the double crochet on the 5th mesh box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm also now going to transition into using this yellow color just to differentiate the different parts. We're going to now be increasing on the ends of the piece and in this 5th double crochet space. To start the next row, I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to chain 1. Turn my work. We already established that the chain 2 counts as a double crochet. Instead of moving on to the next double crochet, I'm actually going to double crochet right into the same space. And this creates an increase or a half increase on the end of the piece. Now I'm going to chain 1 and double crochet into the next double crochet stitch. And 5. So we are now at the 5th double crochet. Here is where I'm going to increase. Now I'm going to chain 1 and double crochet into the same space. And then I'm going to repeat that 1 more time. So there's a total of 3 double crochets in this one space. So chain 1 again and double crochet into this space. And I've created my increase. Then I'm going to continue on, chain 1, double crochet in the next space. So now I'm on the other side of the piece and I've reached the 5th double crochet again. So I'm going to chain 1, double crochet into the stitch. Now I'm going to repeat that 2 more times in the same stitch. So chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet 1 more time in the same stitch. And there it goes. I have another increase. Then I'm going to continue on to the end of the row. When I've reached the end of my row, I'm going to chain 1, double crochet into that chain 2. And then everything that we did on the other side, we have to do on this side. So I'm going to chain 1 again and double crochet one more time into this chain 2 space. And just like that, I have another half increase on this end. For the next 11 rows, I'm going to keep repeating this. Whenever I get to these ends, I'm going to place 2 double crochets into the last double crochet end. In the center double crochet, it's going to be 3 double crochets. It's just going to be a lot of repetition. I have now completed 12 rows of the chest, and this is where I've ended, this corner here. You'll notice that this front piece has just come further down and fanned out, and it's created like a rectangle type of shape. This is where I just ended. This is going to come down like this and create our armhole. This is going to come down like this and create our armhole. You can see this fold is happening here, and this is supposed to be on the neck. So we're just going to create a string long enough to connect this piece, and also that fits perfectly around the armpit. So for me, I believe I did about 40 or 50 chains. I'm having to like just kind of guesstimate right now because I didn't really write down when I was actually making the first piece. But I just made a chain long enough that would be able to wrap around my armpit. So I actually lied. I didn't make up to 40 chains. I only made 20 chains. I just counted. So from here, I'm going to chain 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now to connect it to the piece, I'm going to find that middle double crochet in my last row of increase, and I'm just going to slip stitch into there. And just end my work. And that is it. My first armhole is connected. So now we have to replicate the same thing on this side. So I just start by making a slip knot, and I'm going to attach it to this other shoulder side. So I'm going to find the same end point, which would be the chain 2 that was on this end here. This is the chain 2 right here. And now I'm going to chain 20. 1, 2. So after 20 chains, I'm going to slip stitch it into this middle increased double crochet here. That was an awkward slip stitch, but it works. This upper half of the top, I learned how to make a top in this style from Jory the Dio here on YouTube. She has an amazing filet crochet tutorial, and that is where I actually learned this technique on like how to increase the front of a top like this. So check out her tutorial if you feel like you need a bit more clarification on how to make this upper piece. When you try your piece on, it should look something like this now. You should be able to fit your arms in here. And I am a very big fan of trying your pieces on as you go, just to make sure that it's fitting well. So the armhole is created. Arms fit perfectly inside here, but you can't really tell how it's fitting because there's no structure in this neck part, right? It's just kind of just hanging. So now we're going to work on making the necktie so you can like have a better idea of what your piece is going to be looking like. So I'm going to make both sides the same way. I'm going to start with a slip knot. I feel like I do my slip knot a different way each time, but it works. From here, I'm going to find a corner of the neck piece. The starting point is probably like the best place. So where the string is hanging off already. And I'm going to do a standing double crochet into this end space right here. It's not really a stitch because it's like the side of a stitch, but you can kind of like tell where it falls. So standing double crochet. Right, now I'm going to chain one and double crochet into this next, what is this, like horizontal space. Again, it's not a stitch because it's the side of our stitches, but you can still see like the lines. I'm going to chain one again, double crochet in the next space, chain one, double crochet in this next space, chain one, and double crochet finally in this space where the neck piece and the increases start. This is going to be the last one. So I just repeated that 4 times and now I have 4 mesh boxes. So to round the corner, I'm going to chain 2 and that's going to count as my double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and then double crochet in this next double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet. Four mesh boxes again. Continue, again, I'm going to chain 3. The first 2 chains are my double crochet. The third chain is going to be the chain 1 space. Turn my work and double crochet in the next stitch. This is 3 rows. Now I believe I did about 40 rows to create one side of the necktie, but you can honestly make it as long or as short as you like, just depending on how long you want your neckties to be. If you want them super short, you can do as little as 20 rows, just enough for you to be able to tie it around your neck. Once I finish this side, I'm going to repeat the same thing on this other side, starting with a standing double crochet in this chain 2 right here. So I'll come back when I finish that. I've actually ended up doing a total of 60 rows. I realized 40 is actually not long enough. So this is my last double crochet, and to end my work I'm just going to pull through and cut the yarn, and that's it. Both sides of my neck piece have a necktie. So now we're going to go back to continuing the front part of the piece. This is the first one that I made, and I didn't really take too many notes on how I made it. I just kind of did it. There are quite a few things that I did in this first piece that I knew I wanted to do better. The back looks like this. Here it's like ruched together. I didn't increase it all when I was making the sides, so it's just like a flat panel piece that I pulled together with this drawstring, and I can make it tighter if I wanted to. But then I also had to attach this lower bottom half to the drawstring so it could be a tighter fit. And I just don't like how scrunched up this has to be back here. Like, I don't like that. And in addition, I also have to then tuck the strings in. And I have to like pull it to get like a form-fitting shape in the front. So it works, but I really just don't like this bunching right here. So in this tutorial, I do things a bit differently just to make it better looking, like aesthetically. I think the issue is that I started closing the back a little too early. It touches too easily. So what I should have done is stop my increases probably like around here, because this is like, it's touching too easily. Honestly, because of how much this stretches, if I was to remake this, I would probably stop my increases even sooner, like maybe here, just so I could really pull and make this like really taut. Many thoughts and different ways I could make this, but for now, this will do. I had to go back to the drawing board for this one, but I have recreated the piece again up to the point where I start the stomach half. Up to this point, by the way, I've used an entire skein of yarn and I'm on my second skein of yarn. So I'm estimating for this entire project, it'll probably take me about 3 skeins of yarn. I'm gonna have the same starting point, which is going to be this right middle double crochet on the increase on the right side. In total, I made 24 rows to complete the stomach portion of this piece. Instead of starting with 6 rows of increases, I'm just going to spread out those 6 increases throughout the 24 rows that I complete. So that means every 4th row that I do, I'm going to do a half increase on either end of the piece. I'm going to start with a slip knot. And then insert my standing double crochet in this corner. And then I'm going to just chain 1 and double crochet across the entire length of this piece. So I have a total of 39 mesh boxes. For the next row, I'm just going to chain 3, turn my work, and double crochet across. So I'm going to repeat this for rows 2 and row 3. And then row 4 is where I'm going to start my increase. So I'll see you guys when I get to row 4. I have made it to the 4th row. To start the 4th row, I'm going to chain 3. And this counts as my double crochet and chain 1. I'm going to turn my work. And now I'm going to double crochet in this same double crochet at the end. And this is my half increase. Then I'm going to continue on to chain 1 and double crochet in the next stitch all the way until I reach the other end of the piece. I've reached the other end of my piece, so I'm going to chain 1 and now double crochet in this chain 2. And then I'm going to chain 1 again and double crochet in that chain 2 one more time. And this completes my half increase on the other end of the piece. So I'm going to do 3 more rows of just this same amount of mesh stitches, and then when I get to what is going to be my 8th row, I'm going to increase on either side of the piece, do a half increase on either side of the piece. I end my 24th row on an increase, and I've done a total of 6 increases within these last 24 rows. My piece is now easily able to touch at the back. So the issue with the first piece was that this connection was made earlier on. It was made like all the way up here. This connection was made like up here earlier, and that was just too soon. Now I have an actual back opening that I can pull together tighter with a string to make it more fitted, and then it connects at the bottom here. So if you get to this point and you realize your piece is not touching at the back yet, but you feel like you already have enough rows to cover your stomach, it's a very simple fix. It's not even a fix, this is how I did it the first time. To make the piece connect, you just create a chain and connect it. Once your piece is long enough to be able to connect around your back, I'm just going to slip stitch into that chain 2. When I start working along here in a mesh circle, like in a circular pattern, I just create mesh boxes in these chains and it blends in seamlessly. Even though like the ends of my piece do connect like this, I think I do want just a little bit of gathering here because it also helps pull the piece up. So now the piece is going to be pulled tightly in the middle, but then it's also going to gather this piece up as well. Let me see if I can show you guys what this looks like on right now. I still have to do the other necktie, but right now this is as big as the back opening is, and this is with the chain 5. I'm going to make the rest of this piece the same way that I made the first sample tutorial one. Now it is time to make the bottom half of the romper, the shorts part, and I'm going to be using this teal color. The last time I tried this on, I've already marked the sides of my hips where I'm going to be making increases, because at this point this piece fits perfectly around like my lower waist, but now I need to start making it bigger so it fits around my hips. Now if your hips aren't that wide, you obviously do not need to increase as much, so increase based on like how big or small you want your piece to be. Try to make this and adjust this to like your body size and how it would fall on you. I suggest trying this on like multiple times too, just so you know before you like fully commit. To start off, I'm going to find one of the side pieces that I've already marked, and I'm going to put a standing double crochet there. Now I like to do my increases on the sides because I feel like it hides it better than doing them like directly in like the back or the front of the piece. I'm gonna start my standing double crochet like one off from the stitch marker because I'm gonna be increasing there, but like I also want the start and ends of my rows to also be hidden to like somewhere on the side. So here's my slip knot. I'm gonna yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and that is a standing double crochet. I'm going to chain 1, yarn over, chain 1, and I'm going to increase in this first double crochet. So this is a half increase. I'm going to do the same thing when I get to this other stitch marker. So now that I'm back to my starting point, I'm going to slip stitch into the standing double crochet to end my work. Oh, nope. Chain 1 first, and then slip stitch to end my work. Yeah. So now I've completed 1 row of increase. So I'm just going to continue to increase for each row that I do now, up until I feel like the piece is long enough to the point where it reaches like the halfway point of my crotch, like it reaches horizontally. To start the next row, I chain 2, and this counts as my double crochet. Then I chain 1 and double crochet in the next stitch. I think I'm gonna increase back and forth, like I'm gonna switch which one I increase in just to make it like very much even on the sides, and it won't look like the increases are happening towards the front. So I'm going to increase here first, and then for the next row I'll probably increase in the second stitch. So this is one increase. When I start this next row, instead of increasing in this first stitch, I'm going to increase in this second stitch. But this is like just a slight technical thing, because I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter like too much because it's still going to get the same size difference. Like it's still an increase. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going, and I will see you guys after maybe in 5 more rows. Turns out I actually needed to make the piece a little longer than I had guesstimated, and I think I did a total of 11 rows of increases, and now the piece is like perfectly right at the crotch height. If you wanted to, and I think this would be a really cute idea, if you wanted to, you could just keep working along this, like probably with not too many increases, and just continue working in a circular pattern like this to make it into a dress. But we are doing a romper, so I'm going to end my work here. I also like to aim for even numbers of rows, but that just didn't happen here, so it's unfortunate. To end my work, I'm going to chain 1, pull this through, and do an invisible join. Okay, now the hips portion of my piece is completed. You can see how it fans out on the sides from the increases. That's why it was like important to strategically put them on the sides, so it goes out this way versus like this way in the front. Now it is time to make the split, and this is how I make my splits. I have a total of 74 mesh boxes, so I'm gonna count evenly. 37 on this side. Is it 37? I'm just gonna split it like halfway. 37 on this side, 37 on this side, and mark the middle, and that's where I'm gonna split my piece. And then I'm just going to make sure that 36 going this way is also the same number. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this right here is going to be my midpoint. This is going to be the center of my shorts. So this double crochet here at the back and this double crochet here, this is going to be where I'm going to create a chain long enough that's going to connect to the front and the back piece together. So I'm going to start from back here and work on this side first. I'm going to turn my work. Create a slip knot. And I'm going to attach my yarn into this center double crochet from the back. Let's see, first let me chain maybe 15. I'm going to connect it to this front double crochet that I already marked. Alright, so now I'm just going to do a quick pause and try this on to make sure this is able to fit. I just tried it on and it was too tight, so I made 21 chains instead. Now I'm going to turn my work and start working clockwise around 1/2 of the shorts. So this is where we're going to be starting and ending our rows for this left side. So I'm going to chain 3. And then I'm going to double crochet in this next stitch. Chain 1 and double crochet all the way around. So I just completed 36 double crochets, and now I am back at the back. So I'm going to chain one and double crochet into that center double crochet space where we started off. Right? And now I'm just going to continue my chain one and double crochet, but into these chains instead. So the first chain that I created, I'm going to be skipping that one and double crocheting into the next one. So chain one and then double crochet, skip the first one into the second chain. Chain one, skip one, double crochet into the next one. Chain one, skip one. And the 10th double crochet should fall in the second to last chain, so the 20th chain. And to end my row, I'm going to chain one and slip stitch into this chain two. And I should be back at the front of my first mesh row on the first half of the shorts. So here is one half of the short started. This is one row. I'm going to do as many rows as it takes to cover the rest of my butt. In the first pair of shorts I did about 5 rows of this, but who knows how many I'm gonna need. But anyways, I'm gonna come back when I finished this half. So to start the next row, chain 2, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch. So I have now completed 7 rows. To end my row, I'm going to slip stitch into the chain 2. Oh, no, I keep forgetting it. Chain 1, then slip stitch. And to complete this half of the shorts, I'm just going to do a row of single crochet along this edge. So I'm going to chain 1, then I'm going to single crochet into the chain 1 space, and then single crochet into the double crochet stitch. I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. We are almost done. It's time to do the other half of the shorts, and I will be using this purple for that. I'm going to start in the same place I did with the other side, and I'm going to work in a clockwise motion. So I'm starting with the slip knot. I'm going to place a standing double crochet right here, right in that double crochet. And now I'm going to start working my way around the other half of the pants. Chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch. Now that I have reached the middle part, this is where the chain 21 is. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to have 10 created mesh boxes on this other half here. So this is the chain 21, and I know exactly where I need to put my double crochet because it should be the same on either side. So here's the first chain. I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to double crochet in this second chain. Chain 1, double crochet. Now I'm back to my starting point, and to end my row, just chain 1 and slip stitch into the standing double crochet. Now I'm going to recreate what I did on the first half on this side. So I did, what was it, 7 rows. I'm going to repeat a total of 7 rows on this side too, and then finish off my 8th row with just single crochets. We are now in the home stretch. I have finished both halves of the shorts part of the romper. Now this part is optional, but you can see along the edges of the piece is just kind of just like bland. It's just like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like uneven. It's not even uneven. Basically, I just want to clean up the edge of my piece now, like the edges. So what I'm going to do now is single crochet along the edge of this entire piece. So I'm going to start here, and I'm also going to end here. The whole piece is connected, so I should be able to single crochet perfectly all along the edge of this piece on the front side. I'm going to start with a slip knot. And this is the front facing corner, so I think I'm going to start right here. I'm going to single crochet into this chain 1 space. And then I'm going to single crochet into the double crochet. Continue single crocheting. 4, 1, and then in this corner I'm going to single crochet into the space for the chain 1, and then find the chain 2, single crochet in there too. So yeah, and this is why it's important to single crochet in the same direction, so this braided stitch is like on the front half of the piece and not looking like this. This is the back. So in this corner I'm going to do 3 single crochet, because that counts as the chain 1 space, the double crochet space, and then the side of the piece. I'm going to double crochet where this sticks out. I'm just going to do, essentially it's going to be like about one double crochet for each space. So like for chain 1, double crochet, for where a double crochet would be, another single crochet. Oh yeah, I'm just going to keep single crocheting. So it's 2 single crochets per mesh box. So that's 1 for the chain 1 and then 1 for the double crochet. This corner, it's a little trickier to see where to put the hook. Just make sure you're getting 2 single crochets per row. So now I've reached the back piece, which is the string that goes like around your armpit. I'm just going to find the chains and single crochet into there. 2. And now I'm just going to continue along the sides of the piece. Again, 2 single crochet per row. So 2, 1. If you can't find a space to put one of the single crochets in, you could honestly just fit 2 single crochets in like the chain 2 space on the side, because it still counts as like 2 single crochet. This is really just to like beautify the edges of the piece. So yeah, this step is optional. It's up to you if you really want to do this, because it can take a bit of time, but I'm going to keep working on this and I'll come back to you guys when I'm done. So by the time I work all the way around, I will eventually have to go around this back, come up the other side, come up this back tie, around the neck, around this neck piece, and I will end at the same starting point. I've worked my way all around the piece and I am back to my starting point. So I'm gonna cut my yarn and do an invisible join to end my work. And there we go. I'm just gonna tie this together. Now there is one last final step, but it's really simple and it just requires you to make a string long enough to be able to cross the romper at the back. You could do a chain, you could do a foundation single crochet. I am going to do a chain just to keep it simple because I do want this string to be as like tiny as possible, very like inconspicuous, minimal, and I am gonna tuck it in here because like I don't really want a string like hanging at all. Okay guys, this is the final result. The romper is done. I'm so glad I decided to remake it in this red because that other one I really did not like the back opening, but I think I did a better job of creating a back opening here. The last step I did, which I didn't show on camera because it's pretty straightforward, I just found 3 spots in the back and I used the chain that I made. I did a chain of 200 and I crossed it in the back 3 different times, and then when I got to like the bottom half where I had created like that extra gap to connect it at first, I just put it through each of those filet crochet boxes and I pulled tight, and it gives me like a little scrunch back, which is what I was saying I wanted to avoid at first, but the scrunch is very minimal. The scrunch is very minimal and it pulls the piece up and together, and I still get a great back opening because that second one that I made, there was like no back opening at all. The piece was just touching too much, but this, I think this is a perfect middle ground. And it looks great. It looks super, super great. I love the way this came out. If it didn't take me so long to make, I would love to make another one like this in a yellow. I can definitely see this on a beach. Like this would be a great beach cover up. This is it. This is the end of the tutorial. I'm so happy with how this came out, and I really hope my tutorial was clear and concise enough for you guys. Again, if you have any questions or clarifications, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get to it as soon as possible. For any advanced crocheters, if you also see questions in the comments that you feel like you can answer, please feel free to answer it as well. Let's help each other, okay? Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned something, okay? Make sure to tag me on Instagram if you recreate my piece, or on TikTok. Either one, really. I would love to see what you guys make. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Mwah!